This girl only follows a younger guy all day long. No matter where the guy goes or what he does, the girl still follows him and refuses to let go. Moreover, the girl also asks the guy to take her out to eat. These unreasonable things made the guy unable to bear it anymore. He asked the girl if she liked him or not. Why did she keep following him like that? Unexpectedly, the girl just laughed after hearing. She said that she simply wanted to be friends with the guy, and the reason she had to follow the guy all day long was want to have a friendship. If she didn't do that, the girl would always feel lonely and hate life. It was this guy who helped her have a more positive outlook on life. Doona was originally a famous female idol in the K-pop music industry, but because of a problem with her singing voice, her career could not develop anymore. For an idol, being abandoned by the audience is an extremely painful thing. Doona lived a boring life day by day until this freshman appeared. Although Doona was a very famous idol, Wonjun did not recognize Doona. When he saw her smoking in the yard, he asked a few innocent questions about whether they knew each other because he looked very familiar to her. Hearing Wonjun ask that, Doona looked at him with contempt for his impolite and ignorant greeting, especially when Doona saw him wearing a fan gift shirt with Dona's name embroidered on it. In the following days, Wonjun and Doona kept running into each other even though they didn't want to, and neither of them had any good feelings for each other. Wonjun didn't like Dona's constant cigarette in her hand. Doona thought Wonjun was a crazy fan who was following her. Finally, she stopped him and asked why he followed her all the way here. Only then did Wonjun realize that this was his friend's idol. He tried to explain that he wasn't following her. He also didn't idolize her like she thought. Wonjun didn't even recognize her until now. The idol shirt he was wearing was simply borrowed from a friend. That friend was Doona's fan, not him. But how could Doona believe that explanation? She was so famous that Wonjun didn't recognize her, which was hard to believe. Wonjun couldn't argue and had no choice but to leave. After going to interview to be a tutor for a wealthy family, Wonjun was accepted by the mother because of his maturity and dignity. He also had good academic performance and many years of experience as a tutor. Wonjun happily returned home and accidentally met his friend again. The two hadn't seen each other for over a year. Jinju said she had also passed the entrance exam to Wonjun's school. After that, the two went out for a beer and talked happily together. When he returned home, Wonjun saw Doona sitting in the yard. It was cold, and she was wearing very thin clothes. Although he was a bit concerned, Wonjun still considered turning away. Suddenly, he heard Doona crying. He turned around and saw her with tears rolling down her cheeks. Her face was very sad. Seeing Wonjun, Doona stood up, but she was exhausted and fell to the ground. Wonjun panicked and called an ambulance. Then he followed Doona into the hospital. Because he didn't know who her guardian was, Wonjun finally had to take on this task. He was very worried about Doona's health. He bought socks to keep her feet warm. Seeing him worried about her like that, Doona felt less negative towards him, thought their relationship would be good from here on. But right after that, an unexpected incident happened to Wonjun. He didn't have time to go to work as a tutor when he received the news that he was eliminated because his scarf was full of the smell of cigarettes. He finally remembered that he met Doona before going to the interview. Because of the few minutes of arguing with her at the door, she kept blowing cigarette smoke into his scarf. He lost the chance to earn 800,000 won a month. Wonjun was extremely sad but couldn't run out to scold Doona. However, what was even more unfortunate for Wonjun was that after he took Doona to the hospital, she completely changed and always followed Wonjun. The level of following was even more terrifying than a crazy fan, making him extremely uncomfortable and embarrassed. Wonjun couldn't escape Doona wherever he went. She opened her mouth to say she was hungry and asked him to go eat together. In the end, Doona's actions made Wonjun think that this idol liked him. He asked her directly and said that she shouldn't like him like that, which made him very uncomfortable. After hearing that, Doona couldn't help but laugh. She said that she simply wanted to be friends with Wonjun. After saying that, without waiting for Wonjun to answer, Doona left him there to hang his clothes. She walked forward to catch the morning light. Doona's sparkling image attracted Wonjun for a moment, but he was still teased by Doona continuously. She took the phone number on his tutor notice. Doona called Wonjun to tease him without knowing that he was having a headache, looking for a job to earn more money. Wonjun got angry and scolded Doona, causing her to immediately change her attitude after hearing it. In the following days, Wonjun was no longer bothered by Doona, but he felt uncomfortable. When he couldn't see Doona anywhere, Wonjun went down to Doona's floor to make up. He said he could go out to eat with her. He would do whatever she wanted. When Doona came back from shopping, she heard all of his words. The next day, she went to Wonjun's school. Then she kept saying that she wanted to go out to eat with him. Doona's appearance in the lecture hall made Wonjun extremely confused because the friends around looked at the two people whispering continuously. Finally, Doona and Wonjun officially confirmed that they would be friends. Doona also warned Wonjun not to like her. Hearing that, Wonjun also confirmed that it would never happen. But there are many things that both of them will not know in advance and cannot control, which is the feelings of their hearts. Wonjun officially saved Doona's phone number. He laughed to himself like an idiot when thinking about his older friend named Doona. Thanks to Wonjun's concern, Doona also saw that her life was much better than before. Although deep down, she still remembered her last performance. The images before she fainted and fell off the stage haunted Doona because they often entered her sleep. That's why she often smoked walked to calm her mind. While Do-na was still immersed in her own world in the room on the first floor, Won-jun, unable to find a tutoring job, went to work as a waiter at a coffee shop. Here he coincidentally met Jinju, the friend he had secretly loved since high school. Seeing Jinju again, and now they were in high school. They even met at their part-time jobs, which made Won-jun extremely happy. In contrast to Won-jun's happy mood, Do-na was alone at home, sadly watching TV in a depressed manner. She didn't even want to answer her mother's call, because her mother wasn't the person she wanted to talk to right now. The only person Do-na really wanted to contact but couldn't was her manager. Since the incident on stage, that man had ignored her without asking her a single question. Even though Do-na called him many times, she didn't receive a response. Frustrated, she went outside to smoke. At the same time, Won-jun returned after done his part-time job. Unable to call Won-jun or the manager, so Do-na scolded Won-jun for not ignoring her calls. This made her feel abandoned. When he asked if there was anything important, Do-na said she just wanted to hear his voice. Won-jun's heart skipped a beat when he heard that. Before entering the house, he see Do-na obediently listening to him and wearing the socks he bought to keep her feet warm. The next day, when Won-jun went to the new school year celebration with the students in his department, Do-na was bored at home, so she came to him to invite him for a drink. Won-jun was talking on the phone with Do-na when a man snatched his phone. This man started teasing Do-na despite Won-jun asking for his phone. Not only that, this man also grabbed Won-jun's collar and showed off his power. At this moment, Do-na walked over. She yelled at him, "How dare you touch my Won-jun?" The man was still not afraid and started teasing Do-na. The two argued for a while. When Do-na saw the wine bottle in his hand, the man arrogantly challenged her to hit him because he thought that the girl standing in front of him would not dare to do that. Unexpectedly, Do-na raised her hand and hit the wine bottle right at the man's head. Luckily for him, Won-jun quickly used the helmet to block the blow, causing the man to panic and probably be extremely scared. After that, Do-na and Won-jun sat down to talk. He told her that if she had trouble controlling her emotions, she should go to the doctor. Because she was wandering around the streets looking for trouble like that, he was afraid that one day she would cause trouble. Do-na said that she bought wine and wanted to invite him to drink with her. Hearing that, Won-jun also wanted Do-na to go drinking. Suddenly, he looked ahead at Jinju, who was walking with her classmates. Seeing Won-jun's eyes looking at Jinju so passionately, Do-na could somewhat guess his feelings for Jinju. Coincidentally, Jinju was also a fan of Do-na. Jinju invited Do-na to drink with her. Do-na had said why I had to go drinking with a stranger. Soon after, the two girls went to Do-na's house and drank together until they were drunk. Do-na tried to explain that she was usually very difficult, but today, she suddenly became gentle and unusually kind, so Jinju had the opportunity to drink with her. Then Do-na left Jinju drunk in the house and went outside to smoke. Won-jun ran after her because he saw that she was also very drunk. While the two were talking, Do-na shared that she was jealous of Won-jun and Jinju's long-term relationship. Then Do-na stood up to go into the house, but her foot slipped and she almost fell. But Won-jun quickly pulled her back and the two accidentally hugged each other. Won-jun's firm hug made Do-na's heart flutter. Looking at the innocent and naive young man in front of her, Do-na almost wanted to kiss Won-jun, but in the end, she controlled her emotions and left, leaving Won-jun standing there alone. In the morning, Won-jun's mind was filled with images of him and Do-na hugging each other last night. Even though he tried to calm himself down, Won-jun kept thinking about Do-na's beautiful face so much that he had to slap his handsome face to wake up. When he arrived at school, Jinju teased Won-jun. She saw him and Do-na kissing last night. This misunderstanding made Won-jun extremely embarrassed. When he returned home that night, Do-na kept questioning him about his relationship with Jinju. Not only that, Do-na also said that if Jinju was misunderstanding him like that, then she and he should just fall in love. Hearing that, Won-jun said that Do-na didn't know how to think. She always said whatever she thought without caring about the other person's feelings. But Won-jun didn't know that she was only comfortable like that when she was with him. Her idle life had already made her try very hard to live according to other people's wishes. So, when Do-na was criticized, she also questioned Won-jun and got angry at him. She also threw the trash in front of Won-jun and went into the house. Won-jun was also annoyed by the two of them arguing. That night, Won-jun went downstairs to make up with an unrelated reason. He said that he cooked too much food, so there was a lot left. Unexpectedly, Do-na didn't care about shame and ate deliciously. After eating, the two of them went for a walk. Won-jun was curious about Do-na stopping singing because he heard from a friend that she announced that she stopped singing to go to school. Do-na said calmly that she suddenly felt like she couldn't sing anymore, so she stopped. After that, the two of them played with stuffed animals together. Seeing Do-na's beautiful and happy face, Won-jun's heart started to beat faster again. He looked at her with great affection. When Do-na said that today was her birthday, Won-jun said that he also accidentally cooked seaweed soup for her. Next, he told her to take care of herself. After asking about Won-jun's relationship with Jinju, Do-na encouraged him to boldly express his feelings for Jinju. She told Won-jun to flirt with Jinju by getting close to her face. As soon as Do-na finished speaking, Won-jun immediately practiced with her. He got close to her and wished her a happy birthday. Won-jun's action made Do-na stunned for a few seconds. While happily returning home, Do-na saw a small gift package left on the table. She ran outside with bare feet, intending to find its owner. But Do-na ran and ran, but could not find the figure she missed. She just stood there, absent-mindedly, in the middle of the crowded street, feeling extremely resentful and upset because she was abandoned. At the same time, Wonjun also listened to Dona. He called Jinju to clearly explain that he and Dona were not in love. The next morning, Wonjun asked Dona to analyze Jinju's words. When Dona heard that she and Wonjun were not in love, Dona said that it could only be that Jinju also liked Wonjun, so she was happy. Or maybe Jinju didn't like Dona, so she was happy that Wonjun didn't love Dona. In the end, Dona said that there was a high possibility that Jinju also liked Wonjun. He said that it was impossible. He couldn't believe that Jinju liked him. Dona said that he was so perfect that even she liked him, so why wouldn't Jinju like him? Hearing that, the next day, Wonjun gathered all his courage. He invited Jinju to go see the cherry blossoms with him. Receiving Jinju's consent, Wonjun returned home in a happy mood. When he passed the first floor, he suddenly thought of Dona, so he called to ask about her. Who would have thought that Dona was locked in the bathroom at this time? She sat there in a panic. Hearing Wonjun's voice, she tried to signal that she was locked in there. After Wonjun broke the bathroom door to help Dona escape, she immediately rushed to hug him tightly. Feeling Dona's fear, Wonjun also hugged her and comforted her continuously. After that, Dona sat watching Wonjun fix the bathroom door. She teased him again. Dona said that he looked so attractive. Finally, she said that maybe because she didn't have a father, she had a desire to see a man in the family. Hearing that, Wonjun said that he hadn't lived with his father since he was little. Dona said that she had never known who her father was. Thinking about the situation of being abandoned by the manager, Dona craved cigarettes again. Seeing that, Wonjun took her to have fun by dragging Dona to smash the heads of the seals. Seeing her playing with the seals so passionately and happily, Wonjun felt that she had to hold back a lot before. Wonjun still looked at the girls standing in front of him with deep affection. After that, Wonjun dragged Dona to play basketball. The two had some really happy moments together. After the two finished playing basketball, they lay down to watch the night sky. Even though it was pitch black, there was no, probably because Wonjun was lying next to her. Wonjun said that he invited Jinju to go see the cherry blossoms. He thought Jinju would refuse, but she accepted. Dona turned around and pressed herself against Wonjun. She hurriedly asked and was happy for him. However, Wonjun's heart skipped a beat because of Dona's action. The next day, Wonjun and Jinju made an appointment to see the cherry blossoms. Wonjun was extremely excited because their relationship was progressing very well. The two of them went out and happily talked about their school days. Then Wonjun accidentally told Dona about going to play with a seal. Jinju was in a bad mood when she heard that. She also vaguely realized that Wonjun cared a lot about Dona. The atmosphere between the two of them was a bit awkward. In addition, the sky was so beautiful that it suddenly started to rain heavily. The two of them were taking shelter from the rain when they met a senior boy flirting with Jinju. While the two were hitchhiking back, Wonjun's roommate called him to come back for some cake. Coincidentally, the senior was a close friend of Wonjun's roommate, so they connected without any prior arrangement. So they went back to the dormitory to eat cake, drink beer, and talk. Wonjun's roommate, Yoontaek, kept pairing Jinju with Wonju, but Yoontaek was not attentive enough to notice that the atmosphere at the dinner table was extremely awkward. In the end, Wonjun made an excuse to go buy ice cream to leave. Dona also stood up and left with Wonjun. When the two returned with the ice cream, Jinju was a bit unhappy when she saw Dona wearing Wonjun's jacket, especially when she saw Wonjun's affectionate gaze towards Dona. Jinju realized that Wonjun's feelings were directed towards Dona. The next day, Senior Sehun and Wonjun played basketball together. Dona also came to cheer Jinju. After the football match, Sehun wanted to invite Wonjun and Dona to eat with Jinju, but Dona signaled that she didn't want to go, so Wonjun refused to go. Dona then said that she saw that Jinju and Wonjun both liked each other, so if Wonjun didn't boldly express it, the possibility of losing Jinju would definitely happen. At this time, Wonjun just said that a year ago, he expressed his feelings for Jinju, but when she heard him confess, she was silent and avoided him. The two of them haven't been in contact since then. Hearing Wonjun confide like that, Dona felt very happy inside. The next few days, Dona stayed at home. She realized that someone was coming to her room. She was worried, so she called Wonjun and a few others to go drinking with her. Everyone sat down to drink beer and eat cake, and on April Fool's Day, everyone played a game to see who was the best liar. Jinju said that she received a confession today, but she had not responded to him because she had not yet determined her feelings. She took the opportunity to express her feelings to Wonjun. Dona then said that she was being followed. Then she showed a stack of secretly taken photos and pointed to the door where the stalker was hiding. The stalker immediately ran away, and the whole group rushed out to chase after him. Finally, they caught the stalker. They opened his camera and saw many secretly taken photos of Dona. Dona wanted to hit him, but she held back. She picked up a bottle to hit him on the head but then left. The stalker stubbornly said another provocative sentence. This made Wonjun go crazy. Wonjun grabbed him by the collar and glared at him, saying that I will kill you if you dare to say more about Dona. Wonjun's actions surprised Jinju. She had never seen him so angry before. Jinju confided in Wonjun that she was preparing to move out. She had a very bad relationship with her father, but she couldn't confide in anyone. Wonjun returned home after seeing Jinju off at the bus stop. He accidentally saw a text message on Dona's phone with someone named P. With many questions about this mysterious person, Wonjun went to the living room to drink beer. At this time, Dona had also woken up. She She went out and Wonjun gave her all the photos and information of the stalker. Wonjun also went to delete all the images on his computer. Wonjun said that everything was ready if she wanted to report the stalker to the police. Wonjun asked Do-na if she had encountered such a thing. She must have been very scared. With Do-na's strong personality, even though she was scared, she calmly said that it was normal. At this time, Wonjun told her that it was okay to be scared, that it was a normal human reaction. The most important thing was not to let yourself get hurt. Hearing these words from the young man sitting in front of her, Do-na's heart must have been moved. She looked at him lovingly, and then she fell down and rested her head on Wonjun's lap. She said that she wanted to continue sleeping because she hadn't had enough sleep earlier. Before Wonjun could recover from his shock, she held his hand in hers. She said to let her hold his hand for a while. If Wonjun didn't want to, he could let go. But Wonjun reached out with his other hand and held her hands. Looking at the way Wonjun wrapped his hand around Do-na's hand, it was enough to see how much he cherished and wanted to protect her. The two of them then hugged each other and slept soundly until the next morning. At this point, Wonjun's heart was filled with Do-na's image. In the following days, Wonjun tried to focus on studying and working so as not to think about Do-na more. As for Do-na, she was still alone at home. She contacted her manager but couldn't get through. Finally, Do-na went to the amusement park where Wonjun worked. Knowing that Wonjun still had to work to earn money, she didn't bother him and played by herself. Although she wasn't happy, she still waited for him until he got off work. Seeing Do-na sitting in a corner waiting for him like that, Wonjun's heart was filled with sadness. After that, the two went out for a late-night snack together. Seeing Wonjun eating noodles deliciously, Do-na was very happy. She confided in him that besides singing and dancing, she didn't know what else to do. She also worried a lot about her future. If she couldn't sing and dance anymore, her life would surely be sad and lonely. But it turned out that now she didn't see things as miserable as she thought. Thanks to Wonjun being by her side, she found life much more enjoyable. Wonjun said that he only dreamed of a normal life. Peaceful happiness was more than enough for him. Hearing that, Do-na fell into deep thought for a few seconds. Perhaps she also realized that the two of them had two completely different ways of living. On the way back home, Do-na told Wonjun not to work too hard. He also needed some moments of relaxation for himself. Only then did Wonjun confess that he had left his sick younger brother and his miserable mother in the countryside to come here to study. He also felt that he was very selfish. Do-na looked at the innocent and kind boy in front of her. She felt more and more affection for him. On the way back home, Wonjun fell asleep peacefully on Do-na's shoulder. A few days later, a series of photos of the two of them eating black bean noodles together appeared online. Wonjun was extremely worried when he saw the malicious comments about Do-na. He returned home to ask about Do-na, but she was too used to gossip like this on social media. She felt that she was not affected at all. She said that he had never looked up her information on the internet, right? She had been criticized by others for a long time. Not only that, she also teased him constantly, making him feel stupid for worrying about her. At the same time, Jinju was at home, looking at the photos of them eating black bean noodles, and realized that the person sitting with Do-na was her friend Wonjun. Jinju's heart was filled with more worries. After that, Do-na was in a good mood again. Taking advantage of the beautiful day, she dressed up and planned to ask Wonjun out. Although he said he was busy studying for exams, she didn't care. She was planning to find clothes for Wonjun to wear on their date. Wonjun said that she should take some men's shirts hanging in her house to avoid being followed. At that moment, Yoon-taek called Wonjun to ask him to help him. Hearing the extremely urgent voice, Wonjun rushed to Yoon-taek. Unexpectedly, Yoon-taek set up a group date. Because he was short of people, he asked Wonjun to fill the gap here. When Wonjun arrived at the place to meet the group of girls, he recognized an old acquaintance. A friend was born on the same day as him. The two mothers even planned to be in-laws. That friend's name was Yi-ra. Yi-ra had always bullied Wonjun since she was little until Yi-ra moved to Brazil with her family at the age of 12. Yi-ra left and left a promise to come back to see him. After a long time, she reappeared as promised. Seeing Yi-ra made Wonjun feel that his life would become miserable from now on. While Wonjun was having fun with his friends on a group date, Do-na was sad at home and didn't know what to do. The lights in the room suddenly went out, making her scared and ran outside to smoke all night. At the same time, Yi-ra came out with her friends who were having fun playing with Wonjun. Because he deliberately didn't recognize Yi-ra, she wanted to tease him even more. She even insisted on kissing Wonjun while playing a dare. Only when Wonjun had to accept that Yi-ra was present in front of him did she stop. Yoon-taek came back from the date very happy. He met Do-na standing outside the yard. Then Yoon-taek accidentally told Wonjun about it and about them going on a group date. Then he told Wonjun that he met a really cute girl today, so he probably wouldn't go home to sleep. After saying that, Yoon-taek went upstairs to sleep, leaving Do-na alone and angry in the yard. She even got burned by a cigarette butt and didn't even realize it. Because Yi-ra was drunk, Wonjun had to take her back to the dormitory. Only then was Wonjun able to go back to his boarding house. At this time, Do-na was still outside smoking. Wonjun walked over and sat next to her. He saw her burned hand and was very worried. He went inside to get ice to apply to her. Do-na asked him in a sulky tone. She said that he smelled of alcohol and a lot of women's perfume. Wonjun also reported it very honestly. He went on a group date today and was also with a girl. When Do-na said that she didn't feel pain from the burn until he came back and treated her. Wonjun said that people are like that. If you don't, it's hard to realize it yourself. So if someone cares, you will feel pain because you want to be taken care of. Seeing the way Wonjun was taking care of Dona and hearing his caring words to her, Dona couldn't hold back her feelings. She went to kiss Wonjun without giving him a chance to resist. Wonjun was also surprised by Dona's actions. He calmed down right away. He pushed her away and went to fix the electricity for her. Then he returned to his room and couldn't sleep all night because he was so obsessed with the kiss with Dona. Even in the following days, Wonjun couldn't escape the obsession with Dona's kiss and eyes. He thought about that kiss and everything he did. He was extremely confused because he couldn't understand Dona. Her unpredictable personality made it impossible for him to understand what was going on in her mind. When Wonjun returned home that night, he found her reading a book and listening to music in his room. Wonjun decided to have a serious talk with her. He asked why she did that to him. Duna said it was just a kiss, no need for a reason. Wonjun asked her if she liked him. When Duna didn't answer his question, Wonjun said that if she didn't like him, then don't do that to him. He wouldn't kiss friends. Wonjun told Dona not to go beyond the friendship line. Doing so would hurt her. After hearing that, Dona said Wonjun was really nosy. Just a kiss. Why should it be so serious? Wonjun immediately said that the kiss had moved him. Duna bluntly said that he would stop being moved like everyone else. As for Jinju, after some consideration, she decided to leave the family to live on her own. She also rejected Sehun's confession. Then Jinju made an appointment to meet Wonjun to express her feelings. But at this point, Wonjun only treated her like a true best friend. This made Jinju extremely miserable. The next day, the people in the boarding house went down to the gate to welcome their new friend. First, Yira arrived with a cart of things. Yoontaek introduced Yira to rent a place with Dona. A minute later, Jinju also arrived by taxi. Jinju was invited by Dona to sleep together. Wonjun was shocked when he saw Yira. Right after that, Wonjun was bewildered when he saw Jinju also coming. His life from now on would no longer be as peaceful as before. He could only sigh as he looked at the noisy and bustling group of girls in front of him. After cleaning the house, Yira asked Wonjun about Dona. He didn't know how to tell Yira because he himself didn't understand much about Dona. The three girlfriends welcomed each other with a happy drinking party on the first floor. Duna sat watching Wonjun's two friends talking so well together, unable to hide her jealousy. She went outside to smoke, and Jinju followed her. Jinju tells Dona that she came here to be near Wonjun. The purpose is to confirm her feelings for him. Jinju also told Dona that she had confessed to Wonjun. Jinju said she would wait here for his answer. After listening to Jinju, Dona said that she could let Jinju live with her, but Dona could not support Jinju and Wonjun's relationship because Duna already had feelings for Wonjun. Jinju heard Dona say that and said that she had been friends with Wonjun for a long time. She also understood Wonjun more than Dona, so the relationship between the two was extremely strong. Jinju's warning also made Dona think a lot. She also felt that her relationship with him was extremely fragile. Duna sat at home thinking about Jinju's words. In addition, looking at the pictures Wonjun took with Yi-ra, Duna also felt confused and disoriented. In the end, she got dressed and went to the bar. At this time, Dona's heart was extremely lonely and empty. She was afraid of sitting at home alone. At the same time, at the boarding house, the group of friends happily cooked dinner together. Jinju also tried to get closer to Wonjun. She really hoped that their relationship would have a good outcome. But then, she accidentally saw Dona's cigarette pack on Wonjun's bed. Her anxiety became more and more obvious, but she still stubbornly wanted to pursue this relationship, so she tried to tell Wonjun about herself and her feelings. In the end, Wonjun could not avoid it anymore. He said that he used to like her very much, but now he only considered her as a close friend. He no longer had the same feelings for her as before. As for Dona at the dance club, she accidentally met an old acquaintance. This guy was a former intern at her company. The two talked for a while. The guy expressed his desire to take her home. Dona did not object. After that, the guy took her home. Then he took the opportunity to approach her and wanted to kiss her. This made Dona extremely upset. The two argued with each other. The guy said that she no longer had In Wook by her side. Hearing these words, Dona felt upset. At this moment, Wonjun came out of the house. He interrupted the conversation between the two. After Wonjun ran out to get Dona's phone that she had left in the guy's car, the guy said that Dona did that to the young men to get manager In Wook's attention. Returning to Dune's side, Wonjun told her that he really wanted to know what was going on in her head, that she was hanging out with that kind of person. Carrying so much annoyance and anger, Wonjun ran out to the soccer field to vent his emotions. At this time, Dona also followed him out. Seeing her made him even angrier because he didn't know if he was more special to her than others. Wonjun walked away with anger despite Dona holding his hand. Finally, Wonjun couldn't take it anymore. He asked Dona what he meant to her. Dona said that it was because Wonjun said their first kiss was meaningless, that she wanted to confirm whether she really had feelings for him by going out with someone else. But she realized that she still thought about him and liked him. So what would Wonjun do when he heard those words from Dona? Instead of answering her question, Wonjun pulled her close to him and kissed her passionately. At this point, the two were officially no longer friends. When Wonjun returned to his hometown to visit his family, he asked his best friend about Dona. Right after that, he looked up information about her online for the first time, and it was exactly as she said. She was the one who was criticized everywhere. At the same time, he also knew about Dona's family. Dona's mother borrowed Dona's reputation to borrow money everywhere. This was later exposed and affected her a lot. In addition, he also knew that Dona's parents divorced when she was very young. Do-na's mother then left her to live with her grandmother. At this moment, Won-jun felt so much sympathy in his heart. He never thought that the girl he loved would have to face so many heartbreaking things like this. After that, Won-jun called Do-na to confide in her. He told her about himself and his family. He said that before, he lived a rather meaningless life. He didn't have much passion for doing anything, and he skipped things that were too difficult. But now, he wanted to do more things. He said that he liked her very much. He was also very jealous of the men she had loved before. And then, with just one sentence, Do-na wanted to see Won-jun right now. So Won-jun immediately took a bus from his hometown to Seoul by himself, even though it was very late at night. When Won-jun returned to his room, Do-na was sleeping on his bed. Won-jun then lay down on the bed and hugged her to sleep soundly, until early the next morning, when Jin-ju and Yi-ra brought cakes to the second floor to invite everyone to eat, they suddenly saw Do-na coming out of Won-jun's bedroom. Right after that, Won-jun also came out of the room. All of his friends were stunned by this scene. Especially Jin-ju was very sad when she saw this scene. Although she vaguely guessed their feelings, she had never thought of them being so close that they would sleep together. Immediately after that, Do-na's mother came to her place. Do-na's mother told her to find a way to return to the company to sing in the band again. If not, she would have to find a way to get more money. Do-na could only look at her mother, speechless. As for Jin-ju, after knowing that Won-jun and Do-na were dating, she decided not to confess to Won-jun anymore. She asked Won-jun to meet and said that she had liked him since the first time they met, but due to many different reasons, she only dared to hide this feeling to herself. In the end, they missed each other like this. Jin-ju's words were filled with regret. Won-jun was also extremely heartbroken when he heard these words from his first love. Just because of a little bit of dishonesty, the two of them had really missed each other. The two of them officially said the last words to their innocent love. At the same time, Do-na also went to her band's performance. Seeing her four bandmates performing successfully without her in the lineup, Do-na left in secret, frustrated, but she didn't know that In-wook had seen her from afar. It was late at night and Do-na hadn't returned yet, so Won-jun was worried and waiting for her outside. He called her repeatedly but couldn't get through. He was also filled with fear for her. Yi-ra asked about Won-jun and Do-na's relationship. Yi-ra then gave Won-jun some advice about love. Then she left, leaving Won-jun there to wait for Do-na to return. At this moment, Do-na called him. When Won-jun came to see Do-na, she asked him to go on a trip that night. The two of them took a car to go out immediately. The next day, the two of them had some truly happy and joyful moments together. At the end of a long day of relaxing outings, the two of them spent a night of lovemaking together. But happiness is often fragile and short-lived. The next morning, when Won-jun and Do-na were holding hands and walking together, Do-na told Won-jun that maybe the two of them should go public when they returned to Seoul. Won-jun was extremely happy when he heard Do-na's words, but then Do-na suddenly stopped. In front of them was a car familiar to Do-na, and the figure of the manager named In-wook was standing in front smoking. When Do-na was about to go to the manager, Won-jun tried to hold her hand, but she pushed his hand away. She left him with a helpless look. Do-na resolutely walked step by step towards her manager. The car passed by where Won-jun was standing. His heart was also shocked to the point of being speechless. Everything happened in such a short time that Won-jun could not react in time. At this time, in the car, In-wook told Do-na to return to the stage if she did not want to be forgotten. Do-na expressed all her feelings. She blames In-wook for the way he treats her. She said that In-wook taught her a lesson by not caring about her for so long, right? Then, in a moment of emotion, she opened the car door and wanted to rush out. Afraid that she would be in danger, In-wook did not dare to continue. The car door opened and Do-na fell out. Do-na then shouted and blamed In-wook. She said that she had feelings for In-wook, which was why she was hurt like this. In-wook could no longer speak gently. He also loudly scolded Do-na. The person she loved was herself. The one who abandoned her was also her. Because she did not know what it was like to love someone, she behaved like that in the past. She caused her colleague's manager and the whole company to suffer a lot of consequences. Immediately after that, In-wook took Do-na to the hospital to treat her sore leg. At this time, Won-jun was worried about Do-na, so he called her continuously, but Do-na did not answer his phone. Won-jun sat alone at the motel waiting for Do-na. His heart was filled with so many questions about that man. He remembered the moments when he saw Do-na tired and helplessly looking at her phone. In the end, Won-jun still couldn't breathe because of the pain in his heart. He kept waiting for Do-na and called her back, but then a phone call from his mother made him leave the motel. He left without knowing that Do-na had refused to follow In-wook. She returned to the resort with Won-jun, but she couldn't see him because Won-jun had returned to take care of his younger sister's medical treatment. Won-jun was in his hometown with an extremely depressed mood. Won-jun sat drinking with his best friend. He didn't know that at this time, Do-na had returned to the room they rented. She looked at her phone, but in the end, didn't call him. The two of them carried two hidden feelings that they couldn't share with each other. Do-na sat remembering the moments when she was immersed in the melody and lyrics. That was her whole life all this time. She remembered the moments with In-wook, how In-wook met her, came to her, and took care of her. The next day when Won-jun returned from his hometown to the shared dormitory, he saw Do-na still sitting in her usual place. Not only that, Do-na acted as if nothing had happened. She even asked him if he had a week off to travel to Japan with her. Won-jun looked helplessly at the girl in front of him. He really didn't know what to think of her. He couldn't do what she did right now. He just asked her if everything everything was okay. When Dona said she was okay, Wonjun said he was tired and wanted to go to his room to rest. But with her personality, Dona wouldn't let him go easily. She pulled him back to talk more. Dona told Wonjun not to be so upset. If there was anything he needed to say, just say it. She said he must be wondering a lot about what she did with that man. At this moment, all the anger in Wonjun's heart was surging. He said that he liked her, so he didn't care what she did to other people. What he wondered was what she was doing to him. She just saw him as a passing joke or something. Wonjun wished he could get into Dona's head to know what she was thinking. Wonjun quickly went into the house and told Yoon-taek that he would move somewhere else. That night, when he heard that Wonjun was about to leave, Dona came to find him. She asked if she wanted him to stay. He will stay. He asked her if he had to answer, and she said yes. Feeling frustrated, Wonjun stood up and wanted to chase Dona out, but she hugged him tightly. His voice was full of jealousy at this moment. He asked if the other man didn't need her anymore, so she came to him. Dona didn't answer, but only said that she had to stay in his room. At this moment, Wonjun was angry. He insisted that Dona leave, but she said that she didn't go because she needed someone to talk to, and that person had to be Wonjun. Dona doesn't want to lose him. She also admits that she is slow to realize her own feelings. She was very scared when she thought about losing him. Wonjun heard the words he wanted to hear, but to further confirm Dona's feelings for him, he asked her to apologize to him and admit that she liked him. Dona looked at him and said she loved him. Hearing those 3 words, Wonjun no longer wanted to think or say anything more. He went forward to kiss her passionately to make up for the past days. The two finally made up and officially confirmed their love relationship. The following days in the shared house were filled with the happy laughter of the couple. After so much restraint and misunderstanding, they also resolved the conflict in their hearts. Together, they enjoyed their own happy space and time. Wherever they went, they had to be together. However, deep inside Dona, the desire to sing, dance, and perform on stage was still there. When Wonjun returned to his hometown to take care of his sister in the hospital, Dona was immersed in her own space at home, remembering her glorious days. Her desire to return to the stage grew stronger and stronger. However, she still did not know what to do next, because she knew that if she returned to the stage, her love story with Wonjun would have to end here. At this time, Wonjun was also immersed in worries about money and his younger sister's illness. The two called each other but could not share their worries. Finally, Dona received a letter from the management company's lawyer. Her failure to go on stage had violated her exclusive contract with the company. The contract compensation was too much for Dona at this time. In-wook came to see her to talk. He said that if she did not decide to return to the stage now, when a dispute arose, it would be difficult for her to return to her career in the future. In the end, Dona had to compromise, partly because of the contract penalty, partly because she got her voice back. More importantly, she also wanted Wonjun to see her image on stage like the dream he had mentioned. After finishing his work in his hometown, Wonjun hurriedly returned to Dona. But when he returned, he discovered that Dona's room had a lot of sleeping pills and that man's cigarette packs. He guessed that she was having problems but hid them from him, so he went to see In-wook. Wonjun asked In-wook to leave Dona alone. However, at this time, Wonjun realized that Dona's life was not as simple as his, because Dona was not an ordinary person. If Dona continued to be with him, she would lose everything and even have no chance to return to the stage. In-wook also added that at this time, Wonjun should think about who needed to give up. Wonjun returned with a heavy heart. He truly saw the cruelty of his current life. The dream of a peaceful and happy life is too difficult for a famous person like Dona. At this time, Wonjun also made his own decision. After that, In-wook made an agreement with the company's president to let Dona return to the stage and work independently. Dona said that she would return to her singing career. The goal was to make herself happy, not for anything else. At this time, Dona remembered the day she went on stage to perform with Wonjun. She regained her voice and had the courage to stand on stage. At that time, her image was also deeply engraved in Wonjun's memory. In the end, in just a short moment, the two people who loved each other had to part without saying a word to each other. They could only silently watch over each other, support and bless each other. Life still goes on no matter what happens to everyone. Time passes every day without waiting for anyone. Dona returned to the company and achieved great success when she went solo. After a difficult time apart, Wonjun also returned to his own life. He still regularly texted Dona to confide in her about everything every day, even though he never received a reply from her. Although he missed Dona very much, Wonjun could only look at her in advertising photos. But deep down, the two of them still reserved an irreplaceable place for each other. Until one day, while walking on the street, Wonjun saw Dona standing in front of him, looking at the snow. He quickly walked towards her. She seemed to be waiting for him there on purpose. She asked him to go eat with her. Dona tried to talk intimately with Wonjun to close the distance between the two, but Wonjun was cold. She explained that she was banned from using the phone and was under strict supervision, so she hoped he would endure it for a little longer. She will try her best in the next 2 years to improve her career, then the two can officially be together. At this time, Wonjun told her that he was preparing to go to the military. Then he also told her that their story should stop here. Dona was extremely angry when she heard that. She stood up and left, ignoring Wonjun following behind, but she still could not stand his attitude. She tried to say her last words to him. She said that she told In-wook that she would be with him and would love him forever, but he was the one who gave up first. When she received Wonjun's confirmation that she really wanted to end everything, everything, Do-na painfully left in tears. Before getting on the subway, she tried to turn back, hoping to see Won-jun chasing after her, but he just stood there with tears falling continuously. Finally, after a while, Won-jun joined the army. Do-na returned to her life in the spotlight. Now everything is fine with Do-na. Her reputation is back and even brighter than before. Only then did In-wook return her phone. Do-na looked at all the messages Won-jun sent and felt extremely heartbroken. She really missed her cute younger boyfriend. Time passed very quickly. Won-jun had completed 2 years of military service. He returned to Seoul to prepare for the civil service exam to find a job. It had been 4 years since Do-na officially started singing solo. On the way, Won-jun saw countless images of the girl he loved. Looking at her image, he was very happy for her. The owner of the shared house was preparing to renovate the house where his friends had lived the day before. The friends had arranged to meet here to have a party. Everyone was there except for Do-na. Yoon-taek, as usual, told Won-jun to call Do-na here to join in the fun. Before he could finish his sentence, he was beaten up by Yi-ra for talking without thinking. Everyone sat down to drink together happily and then parted ways. Won-jun returned to the inn to get his coat and saw Do-na there. Meeting her again was not in his thoughts and plans, and even less in his expectations at the moment. But when he had completely let go, he had the chance to meet her again. Seeing her familiar figure standing there smoking, Won-jun's heart pounded again and again. Do-na greeted him, and he could only nod in response. Then he ran upstairs to get his coat. Next, the two went drinking together. Do-na kept looking at Won-jun with a happy mood, but Won-jun still maintained a very cold attitude towards her. Do-na returned home with sadness and anger. She was angry because Won-jun still didn't care about her. She cried a lot because she didn't want to see him like this again. Then she couldn't stand it anymore. Do-na went to Won-jun's place. There, she blamed him for treating her like a stranger now. Thanks to him being there for her when she was at her lowest, she was able to overcome it. So why is he avoiding her now that she's successful again? Now she has everything so she can do without him. These words Do-na said were not what she wanted to say. In fact, she still needed him very much. Then, with the same domineering way as before, Do-na scolded Won-jun repeatedly and forced him to apologize to her. She forced Won-jun to say that he regretted treating her like that. Won-jun was still for the girl he loved. She wanted him to say whatever he wanted to please her. When he heard him apologize and say he regretted it, Do-na said that she missed him very much. After saying that, she hugged Won-jun tightly. At this moment, Won-jun could no longer try to be cold to her. Tears filled his face. Sometimes people assume that things that are too different will not be suitable for each other, but sometimes things that are completely different are very suitable. When they are together, they will complement and perfect each other, like the way Won-jun and Do-na love, protect, encourage, and perfect each other. Today's movie ends here. Thank you everyone for watching. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos.